Right, good morning and welcome back to the channel. Right, it's going to be a bit of a rant today because I'm sorry if I'm still in my dressing gown. I'm not having a very good day today health-wise, so just bear with me. Basically, this is about the state of Britain. Politically, we're in a right mess. I don't trust any of them. I think we saw in the week they're all very pally-pally with each other, so as much as they might do all the theatrics in Parliament during the week, where they're having a go at each other, they're all very, very pally-pally once they get to the bar and outside of the House of Parliament. So how can we really trust any of these politicians to act on behalf of us? I think they act on behalf of themselves. If you just look at the state of Britain right now, the NHS, has anybody noticed any improvements since Labour coming? Because I certainly haven't, and I use the NHS a hell of a lot. So I haven't seen any improvements there. The prison system right now, I mean, watching programmes in the week where they're flying drones and dropping drugs off and that, and then they're on about what's next. Is there going to be guns dropped through doors, through windows, sorry, and then, you know, where's it going to end? I mean, we know about the drugs, we know about the mobile phones going to prisons, which, again, it's absolutely appalling. It shouldn't be happening. So the prison system's totally broken, isn't it? And the one about corrupt officers, and yeah, quite possibly. You know, the gangs on the streets, there's another thing, isn't it? You know, we've got youngsters killing youngsters because of gangs, because they've got nothing going on in their lives, and they've got to be part of a gang to feel like they are somebody. No, you don't have to be in a gang to feel like you are somebody. The best thing is run a bloody mile from your gang. So you've got knifing each other and shooting each other, and parents, you know, having to pick up the pieces of losing kids who were 12 and 13 and 14 and whatever. So there's another disaster. You've got the farmers being what they feel like ripped off by the government right now, and probably are, to be honest. The subsidies next year are going to be dramatically dropped by 76%. Although the government said they put this biggest ever amount into farming, we're also buying a hell of a lot of stuff from abroad, and it looks like that's going to increase next year. So that's not looking after the British farmers. What else have I? Law and order. Now, this is a big topic for me because my father used to be a police officer. Rest in peace, my dad. Back in the 60s to 80s, and I'm not just saying this, but he was a proper copper, good copper. You know, took people under his wing, he ran a centre for youngsters who were having troubled times and turned their lives around back in 1979, 80. And I used to go down on Saturday morning, I was only a youngster, and watch him at work, and he was brilliant. And it was at a local school gym, and he put them through the paces, a bit like a boot camp, really. But you know what? They respected him. Now, I feel sorry for the police these days, and I know the police have done a lot of wrong in the last couple of years, but the majority of police officers, and I mean 90-odd% of the police officers, are good people who are working really with one eye tied behind the back. Let's be honest, aren't they? You know, when my dad was a police officer, there was very, very few foreign nationals in this country. And you didn't have to watch what you said and who you said it to. And nobody cared. You know, if you were a black person or a white person, if you were doing wrong, you got punished exactly the same way. Now, it doesn't happen now. We know it doesn't happen now. Because the police nowadays, with political correctness in this country, well, let's be honest, it's gone absolutely mad. They're frightened. They're frightened, the police, now, to deal with any issues regarding foreign nationals, because they'll just be accused of racism, and Black Lives Matter will come out and march in the streets, and the police just feel, well, we can't do anything about it because we're just going to get accused of racism and things like that. So how is that right in a society if law and order are frightened to actually carry out law and order? Schools, you know, when I was at school, I think the average class was 28. I understand it's now 36 to 38. you've got that many different languages in classrooms now. Um, kids are, I don't know if they're being forced to learn languages of other nations. They shouldn't be, because for me, if you come to live in England, then you should speak English. It's as simple as that. I understand from the NHS now they're paying 100 grand a year now for diversity managers. And there's going to be a hell of a lot of them. So that's running into millions of pounds a year, tens of millions of pounds a year for diversity managers in a hospital, where that money could be spent on new nurses, new doctors, new equipment. These people choose to come over here. So if you choose to come over here, you speak English. We shouldn't have to employ translators galore that are probably costing this state God knows how many tens of millions of pounds a year, and diversity managers. It's all this political correctness just gone berserk. It's gone absolutely mental. I say education, it's a bloody nightmare, isn't it? And autism, ADHD. When I was at school, if you did wrong, you got the cane, or you got the slipper, or you got the blackboard rubber shot at your head. And you know what? So what? Didn't do us any harm, did it? Now, you can't even speak to a kid the wrong way before they're prosecuting you. But I know of instances. I've seen it on the telly. I've heard about it in the locality, where kids as young as 9 and 10 are hitting teachers, and teachers can't do a blind bat about it. How on earth is that right in modern day Britain in 2024? So, I could go on, and I'm probably going to go on, because I don't feel well today. A lot of me medical conditions are playing up today, so I'm not really very well today. And maybe this wasn't the right time to do this video, but I'm doing it anyway. And we've got a Labour government in who basically don't care. They're upsetting everybody at the moment. Every part of society is being affected by this Labour government. I have a friend, and obviously I don't go into details, who has a local small business, who is now fearing that come February they're going to have to shut the doors on that small business because of the new wage rise in the minimum wage and the new national insurance contributions. They said they were already pretty much balancing the books roughly. Now they said they're just going to be basically going to go into bankruptcy. So that's really sad. And if that's one small business that I know, how many other small businesses are going to go bust? You've got the big supermarket chains who are saying that their wage bill and contributions are going to go by tens of millions of pounds a year. You've got the issues with gang theft now. The gangs, organised crime gangs, shoplifting. I watched the Co-op chief executive the other day on telly saying they've lost 80 million in a year through shoplifting. So if that's what's happened to the Co-op, Tesco's bill, Sainsbury's bill, Morrison's bill, Aldi and Lidl, we're probably looking over £1 billion a year in shoplifting, theft. So Britain is really seriously broken right now, isn't it? I've covered so many different issues there. I say politicians, do I trust it? I don't really. As much as I like Nigel Farage, what happened the other day when Keir Starmer walked across the house, which I've never witnessed in my life, a Prime Minister walking across the other side of the house to go and chat to one of his biggest enemies, and they all seem to be very pally-pally. So that worried me, because I thought, hang on, can we really trust any of you? Are you really acting on the behalf of the British people? I don't think you are. I don't think any of you are. I think you're acting on behalf of yourselves. It's what you can get out of being a politician. I did a video the other day about the expenses. It was incredible. Incredible amount of money going out on expenses for politicians. And then you've got, pensioners who've lost the £300 winter fuel payment, 10 million of them. And then you've got Starmer and Reeves, who live in the Grace and Favour homes at Downing Street, getting all theirs paid for them, or seriously heavily subsidised. So how's that right? No wonder people in this country absolutely hate politicians and absolutely hate the way this country's going. And then I'm going to cover protests now. If white Britons go and protest on the street, they all get arrested, or a hell of a lot of them get arrested. But if this Palestinian thing that's going on at the moment, um, and other demonstrations by Islamic, the Islamists, saying they're getting a raw deal and that in Britain, the police can't handle it. And this is what I'm going back to what Law and Order earlier on. The police are petrified of being accused of racism, so they just stand back and let them basically do what they want. And I think that's wrong. And to any police officer, and I know a few still, because obviously links to my dad from years ago, a few of them are still alive, God bless them, and a few younger ones who went through into the police force, who were my age, who I used to be at school with. The hands are tied literally behind the backs. They basically, how on earth can they enforce law and order when they've got all their hands tied behind the backs? It's absolutely ludicrous. So that's a worry that law and order is out of control. You've got gangs of kids running amok, antisocial behaviour at 13 and 14. I have a mobility scooter to get around on, and I won't go out after dark, and I won't go out if the kids are off. So on a Saturday and Sunday, I won't go out on it. And the reason why I won't go on it is because I have to cut through the park to get to the town. And I'm petrified that a group of kids is going to attack me. I'm 58-year-old, whose mobility is very, very poor. My eyesight's not the best. That's why I've got my glass up there. My blurred vision is horrendous today. So I'm petrified of getting attacked by a group of 12 and 13-year-olds. How worrying is that in modern day society, 2024 Britain? I could ramble on for the rest of the day, and I'd bore you all. I'd lose the subscribers I've got. But honestly, if you like what I put, and I've always advertised my channel as a very varied content, and it always will be. There'll be holidays, there'll be Football Manager, there'll be politics, there'll be all sorts of things on my channel, because I've not really decided which way I want to go yet. But I just think, what's wrong with varied content? People stick to holidays, or people stick to politics, or people stick to disability benefits and welfare payments. Great, and I love watching those channels, and I've got them all. I'm subscribed to them all. My channel's a varied content, and always will be. And I think I need to keep it that way, because I have opinions. We all have opinions on everything, don't we? So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I think I'll keep it probably as varied content, because it seems to be attracting some interest. Please excuse me. This is part of my condition as well, and my voice. If I talk too long, my voice will go, and then I'll just come up with a load of gobbledygook. So I'm going to have to stop shortly, because I'm suffering a little bit here. But that's British society basically in a nutshell, isn't it? I've covered a fair few topics there. I could go on and on, couldn't I? But antisocial behaviour, as I said, it's frightening that somebody of my age is worried about a group of 12 and 13-year-old kids, what might do to me. So if I'm worried at my age, what is a pensioner thinking? So we're on a mobility scooter or just walking through the park. I'm quite upset today, because this country I grew up in the 80s, 70s and 80s is not recognisable today in 2024. It's not. I hate it. If I'm honest, I hate it. I hate what's happened to Britain. And I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone in that. Britain is a scary place. And then we've got Starmer, who seems to want to get involved in this bloody war. Does he not realise we're a tiny little island? And Russia are God knows how many more times the size of us, and the amount of nuclear weapons they've got. I watched a programme a couple of weeks ago, and it was Remembrance Sunday, and I remember it well. The head of the armed forces said, we have enough bullets to last 2.5 days. And go back and check what I've just said there, but it's accurate. I heard him with my own ears. I'm stupid. 2.5 days. Bullets. Won't need bullets. But that's quite a scary thought, isn't it? 2.5 days of bullets. If we get a nuclear bomb here, it'll decimate the whole of the country. It won't just decimate London. It'll decimate the whole of the country. And these powermonger leaders around the world now just seem to be wanting to destroy the planet. It's all right wanting to leave a legacy. Well, you're going to leave a legacy too if you're blowing the bloody world up. So I've always said people should run this country. Normal people. People who are like me, normal. I could be in charge. I could be disabilities minister, because the amount of health problems I've got, and there's 5 big ones, I could be pretty much an expert, because I experience these things every single day. So, and then have a really qualified accountant as a chancellor, and have a really top lawyer as head of justice, and have a consultant, a head of health, and I'll just work alongside him and look after the disability side of it. So I think the people in this country would do a far better job than politicians. And you know what? Wouldn't want a second job, because you'd give 100% to your first job as an MP. And people would start respecting politicians if they told the bloody truth and stop lying to people, promising what they know they can't promise. Just do your bloody job. End of. Do your job. If I'd have, in previous jobs that I've been, and I worked for 39 years before getting struck down with these health problems, I would have expected the sack if I didn't do my job. And that's why I give my jobs, every job I was in, I give it 100% every day. And I took ownership of everything I did. And you know what? I was well thought of. In every job I was in, I was well thought of. And that's a great feeling. How an MP can sleep at night, I really don't know, because nobody thinks well of them at all. We just think they're a pack of corrupt bar stewards, don't we, basically? So anyway, it's Sunday morning. As I said, maybe I shouldn't have done this today, because I'm not in the greatest health today, but I just felt I had to get this off my chest, because I hate what's happened to Britain. I hate it. I do hate it. And I'm not alone. There's so many people out there who must think, what on earth? And I've said before on previous videos, I'm glad I'm the age I am. So I'm sorry for the long rant, which has now been nearly 20 minutes. But I hope you have a good day. If you like what I do, please subscribe to the channel. It really has took off over the last week. I've more than doubled what I had in subscribers. And I'm now pushing towards 100, which is great. And I love it. And I love you all for it. Press the like, the thumbs up. Press on the bell so any future content I put on, you can watch. But like I say, I think it'll be a varied content channel from now on. And next Saturday, I'm going to go out providing my health's okay to Stockton's Christmas market, which is not far from here. And I'm going to try to do a live from there next Saturday. It won't be a dead long one, because I can't talk for a lot. And this is really pushing me today, and I think you can probably hear that in my voice anyway. So God bless you all. I do love you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the subscribers I've already got. Get me a load more, and let's try to put Britain right. I don't know how we're going to do it, but together as the people, we need to start thinking, when we come to an election, what we really do want for this country, because the Labour Conservative con for decades has not worked for this country, and we all know it hasn't worked for this country. And whether you've always voted Labour and your family voted Labour, you've all got your own brains, you've all got your own gobs. So vote for what you actually believe in. If you want better for Britain, then it's not Labour and Conservative, is it? I'm not sure what the answer is. I was hoping it was Reform, but after seeing Starmer and Farage very pally-pally today, quite worried now about any trust. I didn't have much trust, but I haven't got any trust now in politicians. So have a great day. God bless you all.